Guys, it's James with H24 Outdoors. Got another install video for you, kind of a how-to, and it is around the Autopilot's plug system. So if you guys have an Autopilot, you know that there's some potential for these to get corroded, get loose. It just is what it is. So what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to replace this entire cord with the Old Town kit. Let's get to it. All right, first things first, we gotta get this thing out of here. Make sure this is disconnected. Make sure this is disconnected. Grab right here, pull that down, pull this out. There it is.
We worked all week, the time has come for all us cowboys to have some fun. So grab yourself a nice cold beer.
So what we're looking at right here is these connectors right here. So we're gonna have to cut these, at least these two, probably all three of these, just to free up these two, but they're very well marked, so it's all good. Props, Old Town.
Let's kick up the dust where the blacktop bends. If you all know what I'm saying, then raise your hands. Raise your hands, raise your hands. Then raise your hands, raise your hands. Raise your hands, raise your hands. Everybody out there, raise your hands up. Raise your hands, raise your hands. Like your country, won't stop. If you're ready to rock, come on, raise your hands.
Heat shrinks off. So we can officially take this out. The old plug is done. You can see that was definitely starting to show its wear, but it wasn't loose. So that's very unusual in one that's been used this much, is that this isn't loose. The new one looks just like this. There it is, locks it in. One thing you want to do here is you want to make sure you get your heat shrink on before you get any further along. All right, here's where the fun begins. We're gonna take our shrink wrap, both sides of this, over this and around the entire bushing, and it's there. And you orient it, and believe me, having just done this, the orientation has to be right. All right. Now this next part's a little bit tricky, and we're actually gonna go to the back room to do it, because we're gonna have to obviously heat shrink these with a heat gun, but we're gonna have to keep from burning or doing any of this other stuff. So that's gonna be complicated. So stand by. Okay guys, so like I said, there is two screws on the side that kind of hold this control panel in. And normally, I wouldn't do this part, but because this is the way it is, and there's just a lot of small wires around it, and there's a lot of other plugs and stuff, and we're gonna get a heat gun or a heat source after this to get this heat shrink right. I want to pull this down and just make it a little bit better. Just give me a little better access to it. There you go. So there's the two plugs for the cover. Okay, so we got the heat gun at the ready. So we've got this loose. It's out of the way for now. So I'm gonna take these two small wires that go to the thing, and I'm gonna put them over here, and I'm gonna put them out of the way, but I'm also gonna put a piece of rubber in here that I've just got laying around the shop. I'm just gonna protect those wires. Just gonna keep that over that wire just while I get this heat shrink done. The rest of these wires are fairly big, so they're probably not gonna succumb too much to this, but once again, just being overly cautious here. Got my heat gun. Now I'm gonna put this heat gun on low, and I'm gonna keep.
So raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands. So raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands.
All right, we got everything back here. So we're gonna take this, put this back in place. Keep in mind, I gave this time to cool down, so not to have any issues come up. We'll take our cover, rehook up our black and our red, and the nice thing about it is that you can see, guys, they even the positive and the negative are two different plugs. It's almost like they know that, you know, somebody might mess this up, like me. So it's always good to keep that stuff in check. All right, so we're all set, back in place. Man, love it when a plan comes together.